Hi there, this is Scott Nicholson. It is September 4th, 2008. Welcome to Scott Stuff. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about research. And so one of the things I have to do as a professor at Syracuse University is do research. And I have to, when I can, get funding for that research through writing grants. Now, I was very frustrated for my first 6 years as a faculty member because I didn't get any grants for any of my research. Despite having written over $5 million in grant requests, I got nothing. And that got really tiring and very frustrating too because I couldn't figure out how I'm supposed to get funding. I kept sending out these grant proposals, they kept getting rejected. Sure, they get good comments back, but things like, we don't think you can actually do this in the time you have allowed. It's an interesting idea, but we have other interesting ideas. And funding's even gotten tighter because we're sending a lot of our money that might have normally gone to government-funded projects overseas. That is one of the impacts of the war that we've been doing, is that funding for projects, which includes things like scholarships and graduate assistantships, has been drastically cut. That is a direct impact of this. But anyway, so over the last year, I've gotten 3 grants, and they've all been for my library game lab project. All 3 grants have come, though, because of previous personal relationships that I had set up with the grant-giving agencies. In all 3 cases, the people that gave the grants were people that I had learned and met and knew ahead of time. The biggest one came through the American Library Association, and I had been doing a lot of work for free for the previous year. And so the research that I did about games and libraries was used by ALA in getting a grant themselves. And so they looked to me to help them continue the project. And so I learned some lessons there. One I learned is that if you can do some work for the field that is needed and make sure that organizations with money know about your research, that can help you get a grant from those organizations. Personal connections are key, that you need to know people. I know that people who are successful in getting National Science Foundation grants do spend time with the NSF officers over in Washington, D.C. So it's really about the networking. It's like so much in life. It's about this networking stuff. So anyway, those of you out there that are trying to get grants and are frustrated because you're not getting anything, you may want to take a different approach and think about how you could develop a personal relationship with people that are handing out money. How can you do something for them without money that might help them get more money? And then they will be likely to give you money to help you do your research. It's a bit of a mess, and I'll talk more about the granting process throughout Scott's stuff, because it's been frustrating dealing with all of this and finding out how much of that money you actually don't get and what you get at the end of the day. But it's something, if you're going to be a faculty member, you'll be expected to get some grant funding, and personal relationships are the keys to getting grants. So there's my little tip of the day. Again, with this series, I'm just going to talk about one little piece of my life every day. Try to focus on something rather than just wander about. The reason I'm talking about grants is today I have the first kickoff breakfast for a grant that I recently got through the Kauffman Foundation for an e-initiative proposal looking at entrepreneurship. So I'm talking about libraries as being entrepreneurial and offering gaming as a service. Boom. That's enough for today, and I'll talk to you more another day. Bye-bye.